What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, coming at you this Easter Sunday with WWE news and rumors. Now, there's one big topic I want to start off with, and that is the death of Reid Flair, Ric Flair's son. He was found dead in his hotel room this past week at the age of 24. There has been no other information revealed at this time about why he was found dead. He was 24 years old. Everybody that I came across on the wrestling forums and tweets and everybody in the wrestling industry tweeting about it, talking about it, said that he had a world of potential. And we'll never find out. We're never going to find out what that potential is now because he's no longer with us. All I know is that he had a drug addiction problem, is what I read on. He was addicted to heroin early on. He just got back from Japan, and I can't even begin to feel what Ric Flair is going through right now. I mean, he just came back to the WWE, and he just got put in the hospital himself for a blood clot. He wasn't feeling well. He was supposed to be on Monday Night Raw this past week. He wasn't there. He got rushed to the hospital, and now all of a sudden his son is found dead in his hotel room. They don't know what the problem is yet. There's no foul play. It's nothing of that nature. But I have a feeling he overdosed on something. And all I know right now is that he was addicted to heroin. So, like I said, I'll find out in a couple of weeks, hopefully this week, what's going on. But obviously you guys can tune into this channel to find out the latest on Reid Flair. So my condolences go out to him. And I never got a chance to see any footage or of him in the ring. But listen, if Jim Ross and all these guys are saying that he had a world of potential, then listen, I believe every one of them. Back to WWE news, guys. The main topic this week is Chris Jericho. What were the original plans for Chris Jericho for WrestleMania 29? Well, Chris Jericho recently appeared on the Wrestling Observer Radio and noted that he was considered for several ideas for WrestleMania 29, including a mixed tag team match at one point. When Jericho left for a tour of Australia with Fozzy, great fucking band, by the way, the plan was for him to turn heel and feud with Ryback, like I had mentioned a few months back. Okay? He came back from the tour and was informed by Eric Pankowski, who is no longer head of creative in WWE, that plans have changed and he would be facing Fandango as a babyface. Jericho admitted he wasn't happy with the change in the plans at first, but he's excited now after the way things have worked out. Jericho will take some time off after WrestleMania again to tour with Fozzy from April 13th to the 28th. The deal he came back under was for WrestleMania, but there is an understanding that he would like to work with the WWE when other projects are not going on. He's 42 years old. He looks in the best shape of his life right now. Jericho isn't looking to take long periods away from wrestling. He wants to genuinely be there. When Jericho returned this time, he negotiated a deal with Triple H and not Vince McMahon. Anytime Jericho's back, it's great for TV. I love watching Chris Jericho work. I was very vocal about this Fandango match. I didn't want it to happen. Now you got my interest. I'm not going to say I like it. I don't mind it happening now. After I did say, I didn't want this. I didn't want to see this match at WrestleMania. But after the segments that I seen this past week on SmackDown and then on Monday Night Raw, they got my interest. Is it going to be a good match? Yes, it's going to be a good match. Chris Jericho never delivers a bad match. Johnny Curtis can wrestle. If you've seen his leg drop off the top rope, perfect leg drop off the top rope. That's his finishing move. Johnny Curtis is going to give you a taste of what he can do at the ring and in front of the biggest audience in the world, WrestleMania. It's going to be a good match. I just hope that it plays out well because I want Fandango to succeed. They need fresh new heels. He's a mixture of Val Venus and he's got that Disco Inferno thing going on. Is it going to be a good match? Yeah, it's going to be a good match. But they got my interest. That's all I can say. WWE Creative news. After firing Eric Pankowski a few weeks back, WWE currently does not have one single lead creative writer. They have approximately 4, and Stephanie McMahon apparently wants more. As noted, the guy currently replacing Pankowski is a guy that was hired by him as a VP in creative a few months back. He's now been promoted to senior vice president. Another writer is David Kreisman, a daytime Emmy Award winner who was hired a few months back. Then you have Ed Koskey, who was Raw's lead writer, David Kapoor, who was the manager of the Great Khali back in the day, who's SmackDown's lead writer, and Ryan Ward, who works with Dusty Rhodes on NXT. Now, my opinion on all this is what the WWE doesn't need. All right? There's another piece here that there's a running joke that many different people have different titles, and that pay sucks for those positions, and that within the past week, a few people asked for raises and were denied. They have enough people to fill a football team, it was noted by one source. The WWE does not need this. That many people writing the show is not a good thing. Too many people. Too many people is going to lead to mass confusion, mass chaos, and nobody knowing what they want to do as far as storylines go. They need to have a select few to work on Raw, select few to work on SmackDown. Obviously, it all goes through Vince and Stephanie, but that many people as part of the creative team is just a small indication that the WWE doesn't know which direction it wants to go in. It's very bad. I hate to see that. I hate to read that. You need just a small team to write for Monday Night Raw. You don't need a fucking football team sized, roster to fucking write your Monday Night Raw. It goes to show you that the WWE, all those brains can't come up with one solid idea. If they're failing on TV to deliver quality television, you're going to have all those guys to blame. Not one of those guys has one solid idea to put on TV? Come on, man. It's fucking garbage. Other news, WWE announced that the Intercontinental title match with The Miz versus Wade Barrett will take place at WrestleMania 29. I knew this would be added to the card, especially after The Miz defeated Wade Barrett on Monday. Thing is, The Miz can capture the IC title. Can he capture the IC title after what certainly is a very stale babyface run? Check my predictions for that. You guys can click on the description in the link in the description or the annotation you see on the video for my WrestleMania 29 predictions for the undercard. The final rating for Monday night's episode of Raw was a 3.24. This week's episode of Raw drew 4.6 million viewers, up from last week. Raw was okay. It wasn't the greatest show in the world, but passable. It had a sense of direction after several weeks of what seemed to be no direction at all. I enjoyed the Punk vs. Undertaker altercation as well as the Chris Jericho and Fandango segment. Obviously, you had Cena versus The Rock in the All-Star panel, going back and forth. That was entertaining, but it made John Cena look weak. You guys can check my Monday Night Raw review for that if you guys want to know my opinion on that. We've noted how WWE had discussions to set a world record for the world's largest Harlem Shake at WrestleMania 29. Word this week is that those plans are off the books. This is bullshit that's not needed at WrestleMania, let alone this year's event. Just give us a wrestling show, WWE. Just give us a wrestling show. That's all they need to do. Because with this card being so underwhelming and directionless, their saving grace is going to be what happens in the ring. You don't need to fucking do the Harlem Shake. The Harlem Shake sucks. It's played out. It was funny at first. I don't find it to be entertaining anymore. Just wrestle. That's all I want to see at WrestleMania is wrestling. John Laurinaitis made his return to WWE TV on this week's Friday SmackDown episode taped in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Laurinaitis returned by interrupting The Rock's promo to kick off the show. He revealed that Teddy Long gave him permission to come out. Laurinaitis mentioned John Cena was the reason he got fired from WWE and wanted to be in The Rock's corner at WrestleMania 29. Rock ended up giving Laurinaitis a spinebuster and a people's elbow. John Cena vs. The Rock doesn't need John Laurinaitis. It made it this far without him, so why add him with 1 week left? It just doesn't make any sense to me, and it's going to seem rushed and forced if John Laurinaitis plays any part in this match. With him back on TV, he might play some role in the coming weeks with Cena, as he surely will capture the WWE title against The Rock at WrestleMania. Laurinaitis was definitely a heat magnet, and I'd rather see him on TV than Vicky Guerrero at one point, or at this point, because I was never a big fan of hers anyway. Everybody's saying it's John Cena turning heel. Laurinaitis is back. This is a perfect opportunity to turn Cena heel. He's not turning heel. All right? The Rock is booked for Extreme Rules. They're probably going to book a John Cena vs. The Rock rematch to get that buy rate up. Laurinaitis is probably going to play a role in that in the weeks leading up to that pay-per-view. But John Cena is not turning heel. WWE's not going to turn John Cena heel because he sells too much merchandise. He's the fan favorite. He's the face of the company. If they're going to turn him heel, it needs to be bigger. And I said this on WrestleZone's forums. It needs to be bigger than Hogan and the NWO. Otherwise, it's going to be a failure. The updated weather forecast of WrestleMania 29 calls for periods of rain at night with a low of 41 degrees and a real field temperature of 34 degrees. There's a 56% chance of rain at night for WrestleMania 29. I'm not Sam Champion. That's just the weather report prediction right now. But who knows what's going to happen next Sunday at WrestleMania. The 3-hour Raw shows are said to be taking a toll on the WWE Creative staff and crew, and they've become a dreaded event every week. The feeling is that Raw will stay 3 hours at least through SummerSlam. 3-hour Raws are taking a toll on the Raw crew? Really? How about it's taking a toll on the viewing audience? I love the WWE to death, but to sit through 3 hours of a show that you piece together with no direction, with throwaway segments on the road to WrestleMania is just totally too much to sit through. I either shut it off early due to exhaustion, or I keep my TV on mute while I surf the net until something important happens. They need to definitely cut back to 2 hours and not wait till SummerSlam. I want to see them succeed, and 3 hours is not the way to go. China may have been telling the truth, China from DX. China may have been telling the truth when she said she recently spoke to Vince McMahon about a possible Hall of Fame induction. DX may be inducted as a group at WrestleMania 30. The original plan was to headline this year's Hall of Fame with DX if they couldn't get a deal worked out with Bruno Sammartino. Now, next year could possibly be the time that we say goodbye to Triple H, DX, and The Undertaker. It really could be, if you really think about it. Give Triple H a send-off as he finally enters his position as COO full-time, with no worries of competing anymore. He's done everything possible. Obviously, he's going to beat Brock Lesnar. Obviously, he's going to be at WrestleMania 30. How many more WrestleManias can Triple H work at? Really. He's done everything in the WWE. He's gave us a lifetime of memories. His last match should only be, I'm going out on a limb predicting this. If I was the WWE, I would book it this way. And this is what I'm sticking with. Because when I stick with something, I'm either right or wrong. I don't care. This is my prediction to you guys. His last match should only be against his best friend, Shawn Michaels. I know that's going to be a long shot, but it's not going to happen. I'm predicting it to you guys. But who else do you have Triple H wrestle? Who else do you have Triple H wrestle for one last time? He's beat everybody. He's beat everybody. Shawn Michaels would be the best send-off ever. As for The Undertaker as well, I would be shocked if we don't get that long-rumored John Cena vs. Undertaker match at WrestleMania 30. It needs to happen. CM Punk vs. Steve Austin, Brock Lesnar vs. The Rock, The Undertaker vs. John Cena, and Triple H vs. HBK. Book it, WWE. Book it. If so, if done right, that could be the greatest wrestling event of all time. Never mind WrestleMania. It'll be the greatest WrestleMania ever. It could be one of the greatest wrestling events ever. There continues to be suspicion within WWE on CM Punk's status. Some believe that he's hurt worse than anyone is letting on because everyone asked is denying any injury. There are reports of having to do with creative frustration on CM Punk or burnout and more nagging minor injuries than a major injury. As precaution, WWE is booking both The Rock and Brock Lesnar for Extreme Rules after WrestleMania because CM Punk will not be wrestling at the event. There are incorrect reports going around that The Rock versus Brock Lesnar is scheduled for the main event of the Extreme Rules. That's not the case. Both will be there, but no word yet on who they will be wrestling. Brock Lesnar versus The Rock is heavily rumored for WrestleMania 30. I'm surprised The Rock and Lesnar will be scheduled for what usually is a B-level pay-per-view, which typically ends up being WrestleMania rematches anyway with stipulations. Obviously, those two names make the event more newsworthy, which is why the WWE is booking them because they want to bump up the buy rates. But if CM Punk is indeed taking time off, and will take the month or two off to heal up from injuries, this is only smart by the WWE to utilize the guys they have right now to make this event feel special. I just hate seeing feuds wasted on B-level pay-per-views, as I really don't have the slightest idea who the WWE could put in the ring with both Brock Lesnar and The Rock. I think The Rock would probably be fighting John Cena again, and Brock Lesnar, I don't know. I really don't know with WWE. Like they did last year, they put him in a match with John Cena, which had no build whatsoever, but the match was fucking fantastic. They'll probably do the same thing this year, but you gotta be careful the way you book Brock Lesnar. You just can't throw him into anything, otherwise it's not going to feel special. And finally, WWE also announced an 8-person mixed tag team match for WrestleMania featuring Brodus Clay, Tensai, and the Funkadactyls versus Team Rhodes, Rhodes Scholars, and the Bella Twins. I'm a big fan of both Sandow and Rhodes, respectively. I really am. But I really can't get interested in this match at all. Why should I? I mean, at least they're on the card, which means they're going to get that WrestleMania payday. But I think Sandow and Rhodes should be in something a little bit more special. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this week's news and rumors. Join me next week. I'll have some more, obviously, on a weekly basis. I'm glad you guys enjoy this series. I'll be back next week with some more news and rumors, and obviously Monday Night Raw Monday with my review. All right, guys? I'm out. Take care, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.